Lesson number 2, percent proportion. So you'll be familiar with proportion from last unit. Now we're going to apply it to percent problems. So here's our learning target. I can use a percent proportion to find an unknown quantity. So as you know from our work with proportions, there's always going to be something that is missing. It's always two fractions that are equal to each other, and we're always going to be solving it for one part. So a good way to set it up is give ourselves a kind of an answer key and where to plug things in. So jot this part down into our notes. We're going to make two fractions that are equivalent. The left-hand one is going to be the information from the problem. The specifics for this particular part. It might be questions out of a test or miles in a trip. Excuse me. The part of something goes on top. The whole amount goes on the bottom. On the right-hand side, we always have our percent. We always look for that percent sign. That's going to go on top, and it's going to be out of 100, which makes sense. A percent is part of something. It's the percentage you got right in a test, 82%. 100 is 100%. It's the whole test. Part goes on top. The whole amount goes on the bottom. But notice this note down here. In some of these first couple problems, we're going to have to look for some certain key words that are going to signal whether we're talking about the part or the whole. The percent's pretty easy. Just look for that percent sign. But for part and whole, we're going to need to be a little bit more careful. So a good way to do it is if you see the word is, that's usually code for the part. If it says 19 is, well, that means 19 is part of something. For the whole, we're going to look for the word of. Now I know in previous lessons we talked about the word of is a lot of times meant for multiplication. And that can be in some cases, but in these types of problems, if you see of 60, it means 60 is the whole amount. So we're going to plug it in there. So let's put that to use. Give yourself a little cheat sheet. Is over of is equal to the percent over 100. And then jot down these three, and we're going to work our way through them. You always start by setting up your proportion and put in the easy part, 100. We always know the percent's going to be over 100. Now, there's three spots. The problem is going to give us two of them. We just got to figure out where they're going to go, and then we look for which piece is missing. So it says, what number is 5%? So that's a dead giveaway. 5% means that's my percent. Of 60. Remember that code word of. When it says of 60, of is my whole amount, so it's going to go down on the bottom. Meaning, I don't know what's going to go up here. That's my missing piece. So I've set up my proportion. Now it's time to solve it. Remember, to solve a proportion, use your cross products. So 100 times x is 100x. 60 times 5 is 300. And then I want to see the work. How did you solve that proportion? Oh, sorry, 100, not 1,000. Divide both sides by 100, and x is equal to 3. That's simple. So let's try another one. Again, set up your proportion and always put in the 100, and then look at what information do we have. Again, 40%, that's a dead giveaway, that goes over here. Of what number, meaning there's my of, but I don't know the number, so that means I'm missing the whole, is 26. So that means 26 is my part. So look for those keywords. Then cross products. 40 times x is 40x. 26 times 100 is 2,600. To solve it, we divide by 40. We try to get x by itself. And I plug into my calculator 2,600 divided by 40, and I get an answer of 65. So 26 is 40% of 65. That's my whole amount. Next one. $12.75 is what percent of 50? So I'm going to put my 100 in here and then look for those keys. $12.75 is, that means it's the part. What percent, meaning I don't know the percent, so I'm going to put in my x, of 50. That means of 50 is my whole. So go ahead and do my problem, do my cross products. 50 times x is 50x. And yes, you need to show all this work. $12.75 times 100 is 1,275. I'm going to divide by 50. 1275 divided by 50 is going to give me 25.5. So in this case, I would get 25.5% because I was looking for the percent. So your turn. Jot down these three. Still got your little cheat sheet over here. Here's a rub. Give them a try. Pause and see how you do. When you're finished, hit play again. I'm going to have the answers appear on the screen, and then you can see how you did. All right, so here's your answers. You can see how I plugged in each piece. See where my code words were. 84 is, that's my part. How I solve or set up and solved my proportion and what I got for my answer. Make sure when you're solving for the percent, make sure to put that percent sign on there so we know what it's for. Last two. So copy down the word problems, please, and then we're going to try to put these together. The problem now is in a word problem like this, we don't know which is which. There's no keywords here. You can't just look for the word is somewhere in a sentence and assume it's going to be the part, or the word of means it's got to be the whole. This time you're going to have to do some actual thinking. Okay? So I copy down my cheat sheet. Part over the whole is equal to percent over 100, and I set up my proportion. But now I need to read the problem carefully and try to figure out which pieces do I have. So it says, of the 60 books on a bookshelf, 25 are nonfiction. What percent of the books are nonfiction? Well, when it says what percent, that means I don't know what the percent is, so I'm looking for it. Then we look a little closer. It says, of the 60 books on a bookshelf, 25 are nonfiction. So 25 is just part of the collection. 60 is all of the books on the bookshelf. So 60 is my total. 25 is just part of it. Now, it's not always going to be the small number on top, the big number on the bottom. It can be different, but sometimes those are giveaways for us as we set up the problems. And then we go ahead and solve. 25 times 100 is 2500 is equal to 60x. Divide both sides by 60. And I get 41.6 repeated percent. So it's okay that this isn't a whole number. Percents don't have to be nice, perfect percents. But in this case, we would get 41.666, or if you wanted to round it off to 41.67%, that would be fine. So let's try another one. Again, set up your proportion. Put the easy one in, the 100. And now we go back and do some close reading to figure out what information do I have. It says the average male adult Western lowland gorilla eats about 33.5 pounds of fruit each day, which is 67% of its diet. How much food does the average male gorilla eat each day? So, again, dead giveaway, 67%. But now we need to really look a little closer. It says the average gorilla eats about 33.5 pounds of fruit each day, which is 67%. So it's saying 33.5 pounds is 67% of its diet, meaning it's not all of its diet, it's part of its diet. So that means 33.5 is going to go up top. We don't know what 100% of its diet is. We only know the fruit part, which is 67% of it, or about 2/3 of it. We want to know how much is the whole thing. So we do our math. Cross multiply, 33.5 times 100 is 3,350 is equal to 67x. Divide both sides by 67 to get x by itself. In this case, 3,350 divided by 67 is 50, in this case, pounds, since we're dealing specifically with pounds. In these word problems, be specific with your units. That means in total, the gorilla eats 50 pounds each day. 33.5 was just part of its overall diet.